Hey guys, welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome if you haven't seen these videos before. Welcome back if you have. My intention with this video and everything that I do is for the highest benevolence of all, in alignment with the highest levels of love light. Today's going to be an animal card, spirit animal video. I haven't done one in a while. I used to do spirit animals all the time, and I've been guided to primarily work on light language as of late, as you guys may have noticed. But I've been getting a lot more messages and synchronicities, so I wanted to share those with you guys as well. So I want to talk a little bit about synchronicity before I move in to the spirit animal of the now moment. So I used to do Native American animal cards, and that's where where all of this started for me. So one of you guys had asked me, and thank you for this question, I will address that, like how I got involved in this and a little bit of my history. Part of what started me off on all this were my animal cards. And it really opened me up to a whole new dimension, we'll call it, of connection with source energy and animal consciousness. And so what this has now turned into me, hence, this has become, more synchronization for me versus animal cards. So I just want to share this with you guys. I started out, I was very into my Native American heritage. I'm not going to tell my whole story. I'm just going to talk about the animal cards. The Native American heritage that I have within my blood, that's what I'm most drawn to, or that's what I was most drawn to originally based on my family ancestry. So I had a great-grandmother who lived on I thought she was my grandmother, but turns out she's my great-grandmother who lived on an Indian reservation in Oklahoma and registered on the Dawes Roll and very official. And then, of course, more family through my father's bloodline that are also Native American. Of course, I have more. I'm a bit of a hybrid or a mutt. My point is, that's the part of my heritage I was very much drawn to. Then as I did more work, I found out I had died on the Trail of Tears, and I had lived as a Native American many times as well, or several times, and also was a shaman in different lifetimes. So that's where this all came from. I'm sharing this with you guys because you might be drawn to some type of modality based on your heritage or based on your past life or future version of yourself that you're connecting in with. And that's a good thing to pay attention to. What are you drawn to? Because there may be a reason that you're really drawn to that. And it can happen in cycles. So we'll cycle through things, and I have to laugh because I'm now seeing all these synchronicities add up, which I'll tell you in a moment. So as we cycle through these, my Native American turned into more of an interest in my Celtic, I never say it right, but Celtic heritage, and then, Ireland and all of that. And then it moved into the Egyptians, which I've been very, very in touch with as of late. And then the Essene energy that I was very connected with. So it all ties in. So pay attention to that, because that kind of gives you an idea. Many of you out there go, well, how do I know what I am? How come I don't remember? You get hints as to what you're connected to, what you're drawn to for a reason. And it can be in the form of synchronicity. So the animal cards, what I would do is I would choose a card and just kind of look it up. And it would be, or I would base it off of a dream that I had about a particular animal. And then I would go and look that up online. There's a lot of good sites to go to. You will resonate with one in particular. I usually go with the one that catches my eye first, based on the brief descriptions that are on the Google page or whatever your search engine is. Whatever words catch my eye, I know that's the one that's speaking to me. So for this particular, what I started noticing, though, when I got into flow is, let's say I'd pull 3 animal cards, and then all of a sudden I would see those animals everywhere. I would see them on a car. I would see them on a bumper sticker. The same 3 animals. I would see them in person. And I started recognizing that it wasn't a coincidence, that the universe was like, yes, Keep going. You're getting it. Here's your breadcrumbs. Here's your reward for paying attention to what we're trying to share with you. And we're going to keep giving you more symbols. And that's kind of where it all started for me. One of the things that started for me. So what I was drawn to is alligator. That's the animal of the now moment for me. But this is also in reference to the collective. My husband wanted to watch Jurassic Park the other night, and I thought that is so weird. Even though we love the actors in it, it's not necessarily something I would choose to watch. I love the first one, the old school Steven Spielberg one. But I did like the other one. My point is, I wouldn't want to watch number 2, wasn't into it, and I thought, all right, I'll watch it. So all about these dinosaurs, right? Giant alligators. And we got to talking about, can you believe alligators have survived for so long? Then there's an alligator lizard in my front yard, or a ringtail lizard. They're kind of sometimes used in the same format. This particular lizard was flat, and when you look at it, it looks just like an alligator. And usually their little tails curl up, but this guy's been asleep several days in a row now in my front driveway. And that's very unusual. These particular lizards run when they see you, or you get close to them and they run. So that's another trigger. Another trigger is that someone else mentioned something about an alligator. Now, granted, I'm in Florida. I see that all the time. But what will happen is you'll get triggers more than usual. Like you might see an eagle, and maybe the eagle is, the nest is next to you. Like one of my beautiful light workers that I work with and friends, Lynn, she always sees these eagles. There's probably a nest by her house, but it doesn't mean you see them all of the time. So the question is, when are you seeing them? In what context? I worked with someone who saw a lizard outside of her door, or outside of her window in a tree, and she was never noticed it. It's been there the whole time, or maybe not, maybe just started showing up for her. Right after we had a session, and I said, start paying attention to your synchronicities, because for her, the message that came through to me was she's getting a lot of them and she's ignoring them. So I told her that, and I gave her a list of just some basics to pay attention to. And she emailed me and said, oh, I'm seeing this lizard outside of my window. Ironically, it was outside of her office where she works from. Ironically, what does that represent? We had discussed briefly that she had some questions about work. Lizards represent unlimited dreaming and potential, and paying attention to what those are telling you. So tying all of that together, it becomes a puzzle, it becomes fun, it becomes a game, and symbolism is how the universe connects with us. So now that I've talked a little bit about that symbology, symbolism, and the connection to the synchronicities that we're having, I'll go into this one that I've been getting, which is alligator. So interestingly enough, one of my favorite sites is spirit-animals.com. I'll try to include that link. And every sentence in this resonated with me. Sometimes I read it and only one word resonates with me. Every sentence resonated with me. And what it's talking, and I see this on a bigger perspective. So it's talking about it's time to ingest, take in new wisdom and knowledge, okay? But it's also time to digest the wisdom and knowledge that we've already come across. So for example, for me, I wasn't feeling guided to speak a lot of light language today, and I was a little disappointed. I could have forced it, but part of the alligator is about cycles and paying attention to cycles. And also in the Native American, it has to do with drums, the rhythm, the beat. Now this is leading me into flow right now. So I'm seeing the connection between the drums and the alligator and the cycles of the earth and Mother Earth that is represented by that drumming right now. So we've been given new wisdom. It's time to ingest it and digest it. So take it in. If you haven't been, it's time to learn new things. But for those of you that have been getting this wisdom or connection, it's a good time to digest it. Then take action on it. This is from my perspective, guys. I'm taking this to the next level. before jumping into something. However, it is time to prepare yourself, because one of the things that the site was talking about was shake things up a little bit, change, pay attention to that rhythm. Are you being too stagnant? You know, are we hanging on to the old too much and not recognizing that things evolve in order to survive, right? Alligators are no longer, you know, well, they get pretty big, maybe 12, 15 feet long, but obviously in Jurassic Park, they were much bigger, because back then that was where they were. Now they've evolved to be where they are now. Also, it talks about they are the keeper and protector of knowledge. So we're getting this beautiful knowledge that's been kept and protected. And to a certain extent, I see that as having and I'm getting the words come through in the recesses of our brain. So if we think about it, we do have the reptilian brain, right? We have our left and our right hemispheres, which from my perspective really should be one, and they were separate, which represents everything, right? Feminine, masculine, yin and yang, or yin and yang, and also the polarity, the balances, you know, and all of that. So we've got this reptilian brain that many out there are feeling negative about the whole reptilian consciousness, but in reality, we are part of everything. Everything is a part of us, and we have this DNA that has a reptilian part. And so what I'm being guided to share is to see the positive in that. And what can that reptilian brain offer us? Well, if we would have been so light and not able to ground and anchor these energies and digest these energies, then we would only be creating. We wouldn't really bring them into manifest. We would just be, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to try this, and I'm going to do this over here. And we'd never actually do anything with that logical, analytical. We may not have survived this long, is kind of what I'm hearing. So this has kind of been an essence to survival. And also recognizing that all reptiles have the ability to evolve as well. That's not necessarily, you know, so just recognize that. And so our reptilian brain is also evolving and changing. But also, we have a lot of change coming, and to stay strong in that. And I love the fact that it said it represented a new period of growth and regeneration. Think about how many lizards you get. If they lose their tail, they regenerate a new one. And it's like they're able to distract their prey, not necessarily alligators, for example, but lizards, by this tail moving, and they can get away. So it's survival. And we've been in this survival mode in the root chakra for so long. That is now changing. We are evolving. And the suggestion was to find balance. Finding balance for me is seeing that balance between the reptilian side and, you know, the not so reptilian side and the creative aspect. Also finding balance in this period of regeneration. So patience in the chaos of others' emotions. That was key, because what have I been talking about in many of the videos is holding space, being non-judgmental, and seeking that patience so that you can recognize that not everybody is evolving. Let's say we're all evolving. But just like someone who is, let's say they're an artist, and they take art class every single day, and they practice every single day, their gift to be an artist may evolve faster than someone who is doing nothing with it. On the flip side, the energies have shifted. So let's take that into ascension and waking up. Some people are just waking up. Sorry, guys. I know there's a lot of light workers out there that have been at this for a very long time. And, you know, they had to go through all of this crazy stuff to get where they are. And now they have this neighbor who is not interested in anything spiritual. They're totally asleep, rooted in power and insecurity and fear. And then all of a sudden, boom, they're like, I'm in love and I'm in love and light. Oh yeah, they see it. They're there. And people are like, what the heck? How come I had to go through so much? And I want to just remind everybody that we paved the way for that energy to be able to anchor in so that our brothers and sisters could wake up and ascend with us. And so we agreed or chose to go through that path in the way that we went through it so that we could experience what we needed to experience in order to assist others. And again, it's that old energy. We're the gators, right? We're once dinosaurs, now we're these sleek alligators, but we are integrating all knowledge. We are integrating wisdom. We are integrating the other aspects of ourselves other than this reptilian consciousness. Now I'm going to go there. Also, I see that reptilian consciousness as also being something that is going to shift and change as well. And I say this with love and light, and it's a play on words. You guys have heard about the reptilian brain. That's more of what I'm referring to, not to be confused with the reptilian race that many truthers talk about, or New Agers, or whatever honest community, we'll call it, talks about. That's not what I'm referring to. But I do want to touch briefly on that not all reptilians are bad or negative. Bad is not the right word, but not all of them are negative. Think about the fact that you're a hybrid. There's some out there that are hybrids too. And so feeling in your heart about something rather than categorizing something in a certain box. Again, non-judgment. But that's not what this is about. This is more about the reptilian brain, and that is evolving as well. So a lot of that stuff that was kept and protected is now being opened, and we're digesting some of that knowledge and wisdom that's coming up in us, or we're being invited to if we're not already aware that we're doing that. And then most importantly, back to this new period of growth. And I have been feeling like this represents spring. You know, we are actually in the process of, there's going to be even more shifts coming, because that's just the timeline that many of us are on right now. So I just wanted to share that. I was really resonating with this, and as soon as I went into all this, I was like, yes, that's what's going on. The next video, I'm going to share a little bit about Snow White, and I'm going to just give a very detailed version of what I'm seeing in regards to chakras. I'm sure you guys can guess where I'm going with that, and the dwarfs and the gems and all of that. So I'm going to do a video on that. I did one a long time ago, so I'm just going to update it a little bit and talk a little bit more. This was old, by the way. This was my timelines I talked about in my video on sovereignty. So you guys are more than welcome to go back and watch the video on sovereignty and polarity that I did over the weekend of... Let's see, today's, so it would have been like maybe the 12th I posted, or the 13th. Nope, it would have been on the 14th. So anyways, that's it for now. Thank you so much. In love and light, guys. Namaste.